about 2 or 3 years ago, started calling it Amun. Amun. I said, that's interesting. I said, so they're always changing up stuff. Even when they talk about Tutankhamun, they say Tutankhamun. Come on. It's Amun. It's been Amun all these years, now all of a sudden it's Amun, because they don't want to link this thing and say, well, if you are saying this is pagan, they're evil, why you got the chief god of ancient Kemet at the end of all your damn prayers? Right. So they done changed it to Amun instead of Amun, or Tutankhamun. You see what I'm saying? It's very key. Now, I want to get into this because I think this is very important. And like we say, it's not necessarily that you believe this, it's just that, now you know damn well I ain't scared of much of shit. You know what I'm saying? I say what I'm going to say, talk all the stuff about the devil, and ain't too much scared me. I'm really not scared of much of nothing. I don't really have no fear. You know what I'm saying? But there's something that bothers me, and to this day, it frightens me. I have to put this in my memory. I have to suppress this thing, and it comes out about once or twice a month. But I just could not get over this, and I'm not necessarily saying that I want you to believe it. But we'll give you the information, and we'll give you all the actual information in the ancient texts that talk about this particular time coming. But what I do want to do is I want to enter this into evidence one more time, because I want to bring this home. And I've talked about this several times, but before I used to go, it may be the theory that this certain thing went on, but this thing just keeps coming back to me, and it keeps haunting me. And I know if something keeps haunting me this way, I know that it has to be something that I need to deal with, or we need to deal with, because it makes so much sense. Now, and I'm going to make my case by it, but first I'm going to go into what happened. When the movie Fallen came out, we went to see the movie Fallen one evening, came back, the apartment was broken. They took the TV, the VCR, and the microwave. Had the rent money right there in the jar, right beside the TV. They didn't even take the shit, you know. But you know, that's what they grabbed. And so we got into bed, me and Ginger, and she was like, well, she was a little upset. She said, how did this happen? I said, well, it ain't no big deal. You know what I'm saying? I said, shit, we need some money anyway. We call out and get the insurance money and all. Because you just took out the doggone renter's insurance, you know. And so it was even better because we got a car and all this other shit with stuff, you know. Even the police came and said, here's a number. Whatever y'all think is some other shit. Call this number. So it worked out good. Whole niggas need a break in. Just get that little renter's insurance or whatever. So it worked out perfect. We got the renter's insurance 1 week. The house got broken the other week. My brother, who was over the insurance company, was like, I didn't put it through. I didn't put the thing through. So now y'all gotta go and call the cops again. So we just left a big old footprint on the door that we left. And it was lucky because of the simple fact, we told the apartment complex to fix it. You know how niggas are. They didn't fix it that week. So it was cool. But anyway, we got into bed, and the same night Azazel came, which is the one on the movie. And also, Azazel is also translated Melanin, because it also has something to do with, there's a book, Azos, Star of the East, with A.E. Waite wrote a book called Azos, also, but it's also translated Melanin. We'll get into that. But anyway, Azazel came. Now, I had already come to this synopsis and this conclusion in the summer of summer of '97. I went down to the conference in South Carolina, and I mentioned it in the conference, and even Delbert Blair said it. Brother, that's exactly right. He said, that's exactly right what you said up there today. And I would suppress this in my memory. Now, so that was in the summer of '97, that was in October of '97 when we went to there. And even Delbert Blair even had to bear witness to it. He said, brother, that's the same thing we got or I got. So that night, which was something like, I think it was Martin Luther King Day or something, their birthday holiday or whatever. The same night when the house got broken, Azazel came and was talking to us. And he said, well, there's some bit of information that you found out about this summer. I'm going to give you some other information on it in so many words. And I said this a lot of times. What you know of as the Africans in America, or the black America of the 60s and the early 70s, don't even exist no more. that was exterminated between 1975 to 1998. Now, I know it sounds crazy, but what we're trying to say here is that you and a whole bunch of people up the East Coast and a few thousand people across America might be the only people that's real. And it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Now let's go into this. Number one, we'll give you some documentation. Rosicrucian Cosmos Conception, which is a real racist book, but it talks about that whole thing that in the last days, the ancient ones, pineal gland, a third eye will start opening up. Also in Vera Stanley Adler's book, opening of the third eye. She quotes from the same part. In Celestial Ship of the North, Volume 2, they talk about how men will prophesy and women will dream dreams and all this type of stuff. Also in A.E. Waite's book, give you some scholarship on A.E. Waite's book, Holy Kabbalah, in the chapter of the Messiah, they talk about the same thing on how you dream dreams and basically you have this awakening. They talk about this great awakening in Edgar Casey said that there was supposed to be an avatar that was supposed to incarnate in the 90s. And his name was John Pineal. And they was thinking it was supposed to be one person, but in actuality it was talking about the inner nature of men, or black people. Also, one of the brothers was dealing with magnetism and was over in France. And he ran up on in the Louvre in Paris, he ran up on some fragments on Nostradamus. And Nostradamus said it in the fragments in the 1990s, black people in America and black people in the diaspora will come into their own. As well as the missing prophecies of Nostradamus they talk about the last days, the nations will be turned to the empire will be changed to black. And they talk about America will not be able to save itself by sea, which is talking about you can't go fight no water. They say between two rivers, which is two seas, they will feel a mighty black hand, military hand. Then they talk about this stuff about this time when America will be vexed by African fleet. This is all in Nostradamus, you see. So we got text on and on and on. Mark Balfour's book, Sign and the Seal, said that there's come a time where they had done a conference in 1996 and they said that the ancient indigenous people, the Kundalini energy was rising in them. So what we're saying is this. How is it that we can go get the movie Watch Stats. That was the movie, it was a concert movie with Isaac Hayes and all that, celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the Watts riots. And in that movie, every damn black person in Los Angeles was conscious. In 1973. But all of a sudden now, here it is in the age of awakening, it takes you 2 weeks to find a motherfucking conscious person if it ain't the person you already know. Black people are like zombies. They don't even have nothing on their mind. And it can't happen. That means that somebody has come in and had they done what Azazel said, they must have taken these people out and we might be the only motherfucker sitting up in here that's living. And everybody else might be living in a robot culture. But we know America is a great experimentation. You see what I'm saying? It's a great experimentation for secret societies. And I'm telling you that I look at black people and they don't have nothing on their minds. And I say, how can this be year 2000? And people walking around like it's 1915. And I see a conscious person every 2 weeks. Other than the people I see all the time. You see what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, just nothing. How can that happen? That means that even if mind control came and shut a person down that much. And it's amazing. The white man can become, and he can do anything to us, and we don't even flinch. You see what I'm saying? So obviously, this particular information is it's also in the Hebrew text. Angelo Rappaport's book, Legends of Israel, it talks about, because see, the Exodus that you get in the Bible, that might be a little chapter. You don't even understand. If you get the whole text, the mythological text where it came from, it'd be a damn near half a book. Just pages and pages. So you're just getting an excerpt from it in the Bible, the damn near fragment. And in there they talked about how they was going to destroy the children of Israel. In the Zohar, which is the esoteric version, they say in the last days they're going to come against Israel like they've never come against anybody. They say people from around the world are going to come to kill Israel. So my point here is we got to start looking at this thing because it makes sense. I mean, literally, people are like zombies and they can't be that much mind control. That means that they got to be cloning people. Now this is interesting. Let me see. Let me give a few other things too. Here's a book put out by the Secret Society that's on Elijah. I got a couple of years ago, and in there it talks about this Elijah would come, and then he would ascend, and after he ascended, the people would get scared, and they would come and kill the people that he leave behind. And he even said in 1973, before he left, he said, it hurt me to see what they're going to do to your people. He said that y'all are hard-headed, stiff-necked people. You see, so, it's in there. I just want to give you a couple other things. The book, The Guide to the Star Wars Universe. And it talks about the Clone Wars. Now remember, this is the same George Lucas who made the movie THX. And in that movie, they got one black person that they get from the damn TV screen. He said, I'm a synthetic. And later on, THX becomes his sound system. You see what I'm saying? That he uses in his movies. His sound system. But also in his Star Wars movies that he started writing in 1973. They talked about the Clone Wars. And they don't really give you a lot on it. If you get the guide to the Star Wars universe, they go into it. And they talk about how we know they've been cloned since 1945. But in this movie, they talk about when they first was cloning, they could not clone people with the Force, which is melanin. You see? But later on, they learned how to clone people with the Force. This is some, in this book, the Guide to the Star Wars Universe is the name of the book. And they go into that particular stuff. There's a movie called The Proprietor. And in this movie, The Proprietor is made in France, and they have an argument about the Africans being in France. We always thought, the French, we need to go to France, they just love us over there. No, wasn't enough of y'all motherfuckers over there in the damn World War II. Now the Africans is over there by the damn millions or thousands, and they saying, look, we gonna kill these fools. So now, you can't blame them. You go in these people's countries. You mess them up, you teach them French. So when they go to doggone Paris. They go to France. You see what I'm saying? Just like the other people is British, go to Britain. So the point I'm trying to make here is, in this movie, The Proprietor, they got this argument based on the Africans being in France and how they don't like it. Because a crap is a crap. I don't give a damn what it is. And the woman in the movie said, you all should do what they did in America. They got rid of their black people. Right in the movie. It's called The Proprietor. The movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers. 3 movies. 1956, 1978, and 1993, where it was all black people in the movie, and it was here in Atlanta. They ended up here at Hartsfield International Airport. You see what I'm saying? Let's see what else. There's a movie called Forbidden Planet. And in that movie they was talking about the domestic, they call them owns. You know that's black. They call them owns. The domestic owns, and they had the savage owns. But they were saying that the domestic owns, they trusted them. But the savage owners, they was going to exterminate. Then they say, we can't even trust the domestic owners. That's like the domestic Negroes. We the domestic Negroes. Yeah, and they said, so we got to kill all of them. It's a movie called Fantastic Planet. I got a copy of it the other day. The Zohar talks about this stuff. 3 the Hard Way. Jim Brown, Fred Williams, and Jim Kelly, 1974. 3 the Hard Way talks about extermination. Now why? Because the Messiah, as what we said, J.L. Hook said, we must mobilize and neutralize the lies of the black Messiah. So the Bible tells you the Son of Man will be in the west. The Kabbalah talks about the great mixture in the west. Now, we are mixed with all the parts of Africa in our blood. The word Osiris means west. Amenta means west. And Amenta will be lit up, which is supposed to be Amenta, which is supposed to be the underworld, will be lit up by Horus. Horus goes to Amenta and liberates them from Amenta. America's Secret Destiny, they talk about this particular establishment and how they were trying to establish something for the Christ. This is even in the so-called Masons. You see what I'm saying? We know they might have a Moorish input. They gave them that information that the Christ is going to be in the West. Because we know that type of stuff. Because we know that the Moorish part of that was turned into Highlander 1. The movie Highlander 1. And the new Highlander is off the hook. The people that's the Highlander. If you ever saw the Highlander stuff. The last movie is off the hook. It's in theaters now. But Highlander 1, which was Moorish stuff where they talk about the great gathering will be in the West. Well, we had a good gathering. You see what I'm saying? So the great gathering will be in the West. Camelot, which is Camelot was supposed to be this place. It was talking about America, but British, when they conquered Ireland and Scotland, they took the mythology and made Camelot Britain. They're trying to establish royalty to go back to that King Arthur shit, which ain't no royalty. You cavemen. But it was a Moorish mythology talking about America. And the Camelot, which means new lot of Egypt. Black lot, in Ernest Scott's book, People of the Secret. Camelot, which means black Egypt, it means new lot of Egypt. Or like New Egypt. Is talking about America because we have the Hermetic text that says that there will be an extension of ancient Kemet in America in the last days. This is what they were talking about when Tahuti is telling Imhotep this. So we know that it was talking about us. You see what I'm saying? Elijah talked about the black man in the West. The Hermetic text. The Hermetic text. Now you got these white people on the internet saying that the blacks are heirs to the earth. You see? On the internet. The book of Zavatar talking about we got to get them black Masons. Now we know that the Black Masonic lodge they're talking about is the one that's talking about the whole Prince Hall thing, as well as anything else that came out of that. And I told you the story how the Duncan's Ritual Complete book that you can buy in on Barnes and Noble, which is the Masonic book, we couldn't use that at first. So the guy Charles Wesley Dodge, which is what's his name, grandfather? What's my name? Mayor Jackson, and his granddaughter works at, she's working at Richmond Military doing the readings. Yeah. Anyway, Charles Wesley Dodge went and wrote a Dodge ritual. And after the black people, that's the one they used for years after they abandoned it and got the Duncan. The white people picked up the Dodge shit, they used that shit because they know it's authentic. And they got Charles Wesley Dodge Street right down by Mason. And yet they got Martin Luther King shit that goes to the doggone Confederate graveyard, starts in the Confederate graveyard. Remember I talked about that? And I told you in Indianapolis, the brother Darrell Rice said that he traced, they went and got on their Martin Luther King, and it ends up in the Confederate graveyard as a government agent. You see? So, so we know what this particular stuff, what they're dealing with at this particular time. But like I said, they want our juice now. So now they're trying to come around. They're trying to come around. Now you also know that this, you'll know that we are the people that call it the suffering Messiah, which they say in the book, the Gospel of Thomas, it tells you when your eyes are open, you will be troubled. Now anybody know if you got any consciousness over the last couple of years, that's when your trouble started. Financially and all that kind of shit. That's when your shit started. The day you got into the consciousness, you started suffering. But it also said when your eyes are open, it's also prophetic. It's called suffering Messiah. So when your eyes are open, you will be troubled. But when you're troubled, rejoice because the kingdom is at hand. You see what I'm saying? But that is that particular part. Now this is interesting here too. I want to get into this stuff in here, and we're gonna as we rolling on. What time is it?
4:30.
Okay, cool. We can roll now. When I was in the AU Center, we couldn't find no herb in the mid-'80s. And at Benedict, in the early 80s, late 70s, we couldn't find none. Right after the Olympics, here, they got an herb epidemic in the AU Center. Now they go and they take the marijuana, they put it in the black and mild cigars. Now I got a friend that I used to work for in the AU Center. Got a store right across from the library. Anyway, he sells about a case, a big old case of black and mild cigars a day. And I mean, it'd be freshmen, girls, boys, everybody buying it, and they be smoking the marijuana up in it. But they got a police precinct in the middle of the AU Center that they put up in there in 1990. And nobody goes to jail. You see what I'm saying? So that means in actuality that's a government installation or a government program. You see what I'm saying? Because the stuff that's over in that area ain't marijuana. Now remember Devil Larry King was talking about the seeds, and he said they had what's called terminator seeds. They can genetically alter the seeds and said the seeds you plant one year, the next year, you go back, you want to plant again, they say, no, you're going to plant beans this year. You say, I want to plant corn, but you can't do it for the simple fact. If you do, the seed terminates after one season. So now they can genetically alter the stuff. You see what I'm saying? Based on genetic engineering and all, they can actually alter the shit that have the same properties as the crack cocaine. You see what I'm saying? They can genetically alter it down to the fucking seeds. And then all of a sudden, these people are smoking this shit by the masses. And I mean by the thousands. And yet, they got a police precinct right there and nobody messing with nobody. You see what I'm saying? That means in actuality it's a conspiracy going on. You see what I'm saying? It's a conspiracy going on. Yeah, they got white people grow some shit in their backyard and the next thing you know, they start to get big time years. You see what I'm saying? But yes, you can go to the AU Center, you can get all the hair you want. It's very key how this whole thing is going down. Or how this thing is going down also too. A few other things here. Let's see here. A few other things. I want to deal with some stuff. We're going to go into this particular, this whole feminine thing in a few minutes and all. Also, I want to give you some movies that you go back and see. Go back and check out the movie Photographs and Fairies again. Look at it real good. Because those particular fairies that they're talking about is also the Melanin Kingdom. See, a lot of these things you think in mythology is literal. They're talking about inner aspects of the black body. There's a movie called Flight of the Dragon. And in this particular movie, Flight of the Dragon, it's an animated piece. And it talks about how all mankind is facing a single choice. The world of magic or the world of science. So it's interesting because the European got us into the whole world of science. And we thinking that his shit is reality. You know what I'm saying? We thinking that his thing is reality. So it's a lot of stuff going on in that particular movie. The Flight of the Dragon. Like I said, the Highlander movie is out. It's real. It's off the hook. In the movie The Cell. Now, when you go see the movie The Cell, it's gonna throw you off because they put the whole Count Electra thing up in there and they're doing the whole mass murder thing at the beginning. So the movie starts when this mass murderer, they find him and he's already had this attack where he's unconscious. So Jennifer Lopez has to go up into his brain and find out where this last missing girl is. And there's a whole other dimension up in there. That's the key you need to deal with. Now also too, she gets up in there and get lost up in there. When they go back up in there, she's on a throne like the Queen of Hades. That's for Stephanie or Nana. So they're dealing with a whole lot of stuff spiritual up in there. If you understand mythology, And so when you go see it, they show you this whole aspect of this guy's mind. And in order to literally tap into the part that she wanted to do, she had to take him and put him in her mind to work with some things. So it's still with a lot of stuff in the actual movie. But don't get thrown off on the whole mass murder thing, because the key is when the movie starts, when they start going into his brain. When they start going into his brain. Movie What Lies Beneath. It's a movie about this girl that gets killed, and she uses, well, there's a lot of movies about that, but she comes back and she's a ghost, but she's giving Michelle Pfeiffer all kind of keys to find her killer, which so happens to be Harrison Ford. And he don't never play no bad guys, but he played I'm like, it's about time. But anyway, one of the keys was they had to go to this small town and go to this tavern called the Sleeping Dog. And that's the dog stuff. There's also the sleeping Buddha, the sleeping dog. And it was purple looking and gold. There you go, that's that alchemical thing. The sleeping dog. When I look at this shit here and look, it's got my doggone house number 1766 on this shit. You know, it's just a coincidence and all, but it's called a sleeping dog. And there was a key at the sleeping dog. There was a key to the doggone movie. You see what I'm saying? Everything's everything. Go get the movie Wolfen. Rent the movie Wolfen, and when they go to they're gonna go to this Native American hangout spot, because they're trying to find out what this Wolfen thing is that's killing people. And the Native Americans dropped on them, talk about we were once one with these other primordial entities. And then man came along and started killing all stuff. And these primordial entities, they take the sick and they eat off the sick. And they say these people were around millions of years ago. So it goes, the Native Americans drop some real serious stuff in the movie. I just want you to check that movie out. Also, to go back and get the movie Hudson Hawk with Bruce Willis, because that's dealing with alchemy. And the whole, now you think it's dealing with money, but it's dealing with alchemy. Get the movie Dreamscape with Dennis Quaid. A lot of stuff based on what you can do in your dreams. You see, the movie High Plains Drifter. Clint Eastwood is an Osirian movie where they kill him and he comes back. And in actuality, Clint Eastwood is actually the ghost of the sheriff or the marshal that they killed. High Plains is an Osirian movie of Osirian revenge. Go get Outlaw Joseph Wales. A lot of shit they dropping up in Outlaw Joseph Wales. They dropping a lot of science. I guess you put it there also. You see, Outlaw Joseph Wales. Yeah, I guess you can put it there. I'm going to say some stuff. Like I said before, it is the reason why it kills advanced conscious people. And here's a book called Kundalini for a New Age, and I think I talked about this the last time. But in this book it says there are devices that will come into operation at the time of a seemingly annihilative nuclear war or behavior to save the race from extinction. So this is also, this is book here, Bobby Krishna's book. So let me write in from Bobby Krishna. And in this particular book, edited by Gene Kieffer, Kieffer. In this particular book, they're talking about these devices that will come on, these latent forces that will come on and will kill up anything that it suspects is going to be danger to it. It's just that they have to, number one, they have to kill the dead people because they know that, because like I said, half them people are clones anyway. On the other hand, there was a certain time cycle that they could kill us off because this particular stuff was dormant and it wasn't online yet. So therefore, they know that they have to sneak up and they have to kill us off secretively. We don't know nothing about it. But if they announce war on us, like even Farrakhan said, do you want your slave to go to war with you? Because if your slave goes to war with you, we will win. Let me say that back in 1985. And in so many words, they know that they can't announce the day of battle on us or some kind of shit like that because they know that we have devices, latent devices in us. Kundalini energy, we're going to get into that stuff and how to activate this shit on the woman part of the lecture, they know that this particular stuff that's in us, they know that it's a time I'm waiting. And also, too, they know that they don't even want to even kill the wrong person. Because that means that this shit will just, it's like a time bomb. You see what I'm saying? So, they really don't care. The only thing they're interested in is controlling the masses. And they know that the masses think that all this is crazy anyway. So they really don't care. We can say what the hell we want to say. Now, this is interesting because this came to me, it came to me strong. I said, no, wait a minute, I don't want a damn airplane. Usually when this shit, when I'm really rolling, I'm on an airplane at least once a week. At least 3 weekends out of the month. Before I don't go in a slump. You see what I'm saying at all? And I'm in a big time slump right now. But the point I'm trying to make here is that when I'm rolling this stuff, especially from 94 to doggone 2000, I was on an airplane every doggone, from 93. I was on an airplane down there every week. Now I'm like, I know damn well they can take these airplanes down. That plane fall right out of the sky. Ask Ron Brown and Mickey Leland and stuff. But the key here is, and I said, wait a minute, I said, I believe these fools here. It's almost like they're protecting me. It came to me real strong. And I was talking to Valentine, and Valentine said, look, we the code breakers. They ain't gonna take out the code breakers. They'll take out an idiot out here talking about some political shit. But you the code breaker, they trying to find out what's next. Because they know damn well every month, every week, if we do election, somebody come and get the tapes and give it to the government. You know what I'm saying? Like what's the name said? You invite 90 people to a lecture, 85 of them is fucking agents. But the key here is, I said, wait a minute, something's going on here. And Valentine said, wait, we really cold breaks. Valentine said he was talking to some lady, some white woman, and she said, yo, we know who you are. Said, we've been watching you for a long time. We know who you are. But so I get this sense that they let certain people do what they want to do because they understand, number one, why even initiate a ass with it? But then again, because they're not only interested in controlling the masses. You see what I'm saying? So, but these latent forces, this book, the Kundalini for a New Age, and you have this Kundalini, you saw the movie Sekhmaat, with all the cuts and stuff, that's one stuff again. That also happens when the Kundalini rises. Must be for white people, but then again, I don't know. That's also happened. Also, Kundalini is instant genius. So this whole thing about, they give you that Einstein shit. Just raising the Kundalini makes an instant genius. You become an instant genius. You see what I'm saying? Because the word genius comes from the word genie, also the word gens, which is also Damien's, almonds, hidden stuff, it's nothing but melanin. So, raising the Kundalini makes it an instant genius. Kundalini is feminine power, which they're trying to stop, which is very key. Now, the leading edge research group has got this new thing out there as they're trying to say that they just make up these lies. They say that there was some group of Syrians, some masculine Syrians, and there were some Syrians from Sirius C, which was some feminine Syrians. And the feminine Syrians took over the masculine Syrians, and the feminine Syrians are evil. And so they're trying to tell men to rebel against the feminine energy. This is very key now what's going on. You see what I'm saying? That's why you got damn T.D. Jakes up here on the summer solstice with all these thousands of black women. Man, I went downtown up there by Planet Hollywood. I'm like, what the hell? Where all these sisters coming from? And I'm seeing these old books, Woman on Down Loose and all that. Now he's singing to their ass. Now all kind of crazy shit. And man, it just hurt me because I'm saying, look, they got the thousands of these doggone women following this school. You see what I'm saying? So the whole key is to get the feminine energy. We told you about how they're doing this with the actual movies. So the whole leading edge research group is in this type thing, and they're saying that the feminine energy is evil. Very key, because they know they're trying to stop some stuff. And this is historical, what we're going to deal with this particular lecture. We're going to put it right down to the T on what needs to be done. So what needs to be done also too on this lecture. Also, because also there's 960 chakras in the body. You see what I'm saying? This is an extraterrestrial invasion in you. These 960 chakras. We also talk about, they're going on and on, talking about this whole reptilian hatred, and we know that the reptilian is the Kundalini energy, but the Kundalini energy is called a feminine energy. There's a goddess called Kundalini. That's a goddess. You see, a feminine goddess. Also, Leviathan is the Hebrew word for Kundalini. You see, for Kundalini. They're trying to say, and they automatically say that the Syrians are black. That's what this paper said. They are the heirs of the earth, but they are from Sirius. But they're trying to say also too, they're trying to train the black man against the black woman also too, with this thing here. You see what I'm saying? Well, that ain't hard to do. As well as it ain't hard to train the black woman against the black man and shit. So, you know, it ain't like y'all. Ain't like y'all. But anyway. But the key here is the Alec McLean's book is set the premise for a lot of things, but this is important stuff. What's this book? The Real Power. The Real Power. And it talks about how the coming race will have this extraordinary power, and that particular power will replace mankind. And it's called The Real Power. Alec McLean's book, the Lost World of Agarthy. A-G-H-A-R-T-I. The Lost World of Agarthy. The Mystics of the Real Power. Alec McLean's book. He says that this particular, the real power of real power, that Hitler and all that was looking for is nothing but the Kundalini energy. And remember, at the top of the serpent of the Kundalini energy is the black dot, which is the pineal gland. You see what I'm saying? Which is the pineal gland. And the Kundalini energy is in both in black males and black females. So we still talk about a feminine energy. And this is how this breaks this thing down to this feminine lecture, which in actuality is both of us rising up. Both of us rising up. Krishna comes to save the world from materialism. Didn't say save the world from the material aspect. We know that that is the ultimate, but from materialism. You see what I'm saying? From materialism. So now I'm talking about now. Should $100 is like 20. And that means white people ain't gonna catch no hell with it, because the simple fact they got the money. But you slip up one day and your ass is grass. One day you roll it, the next day you fucked. You see what I'm saying? The next day you screwed. You see, so this whole thing based on globalization is all based on this European is saying that I am supreme in thought alone. All the people now they're saying, I said this the last lecture, that thought itself now is European. You see, thought itself is European. You see, so we're talking about this globalization. They're talking about if you go to the damn African bush or you go to Asia, it's still European mindset. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing. This is another thing too. People say, I saw they had a Hispanic show on yesterday, and they're talking about the history of the Hispanic in Hollywood and stuff. And one woman said, I don't want to be known as a Hispanic actor. I want to be known as an actor. I said, man, that's the same old cliche shit they said. I don't want to be known as a black actor. I want to be known as an actor. Motherfucker, you black. Hell, you black. You have a history that go along with you being black. You know what I'm saying? This is some type of, but when you say, I don't want to be known as a black actor, I don't want to be known as a black actor, I want to be known as an actor. An actor compared to what, who are you equating not being black to? But a white man. You know what I'm saying? So we just talk about, it's like this work ethics thing. You know, I had this girl, man, I met this sister at Mr. V's, you know, Mr. V's out there, I met this beautiful sister. We kicked it a couple of weeks. One day, I was working at the post office, up here at Clark, and I was working at the damn post office or something, a stupid thing. I'm in the bed one day laying down, and she said, hey, why you didn't go to work? She said, well, you sick? I said, no, fuck it, I just didn't go. Where are your work ethics? Oh, so now the white man done made work ethical like worship.
life on the line, out every day as a police officer, once you put your life on the line for this little bit of money, okay? You don't even question that shit. You just do it. I come up and say, I want you to put your livelihood on the line. You see what I'm saying? I want you to put your livelihood on the line by quitting this shit. That's a question. You see? Now you don't even question him saying putting your life, you can get another damn livelihood, you can't get another life. You see? We're talking about the mind control. You see what I'm saying? The mind control. Like that whole, if I don't marry you, your child is illegitimate. No. He's saying that my marriage makes you legitimate in life. And if you have a baby and my sister don't marry you, then your baby is not legitimate in life. It's not even real. And nigga become your illegitimate baby. You can understand the goddamn concept of this shit here? This is mind control. That is science. That if I don't marry you in my fucking system, you're not legitimate. Your child is not legitimate. What kind of shit is this? Did we understand why we are cliche people and don't never get nothing? Because we don't never challenge shit. We got to challenge our own minds with this bullshit. You got to turn everything around. It's very key. So when they say Krishna saved the world from materialism, you understand what I'm saying? That's how astray we're going when they talk about doggone work ethics. You see what I'm saying? And this kind of foolishness. You see, this kind of doggone foolishness. You know. In the Krishna mythology, going into some stuff in the Krishna mythology, he has a magical flute that he mesmerized these women by. In the early mythology, when it was Shiva, they had to, as we go further back, we find out that sex was dealt with on an advanced level of spirituality. As the mythology comes later, a lot of the sexual stuff is turned into something else. So the magical flute, which is the magical flute with Krishna, was the magical penis of Osiris, Dionysus, and Shiva. You see what I'm saying? Now what this is also saying that we're talking about Christianity with the Christ being as fake as you can get for the simple fact there's no sex involved. But yet if you go back, and we have identified, see this is the funny thing about it is, we know that Jeremiah and we know that the Afro-Central community identified Horus as the Christ, the Camite Christ. But we don't get a lot on him other than the Jeremiah 6 volume. After that, they lock down this particular material, and there's a lot of stuff. The ship is still out. We don't get a lot of the Camite or the Egyptian stuff on this. Who is this Horus? You see what I'm saying? You're going to have to go, and I said this the last time, you're going to have to go to India and deal with Shiva. Shiva and Shakti, Shiva and Pavali, deal with Shiva. Now in this and all, we find all of this sexual stuff put back, and it is the keystone, and it is the key to this whole shit. I'm getting ahead of myself. We're going to go into this in a few minutes. It is the key to this whole thing. How much time you got on that?
You got some time. Go ahead.
Okay, it is the key to this whole thing. So it used to be Shiva or Osiris' penis. Later on becomes Krishna's flute. But Krishna is not far removed from the ancient Vedic system also too. Now by the time you get to the Buddhist thing, that's a religion. That's a religion by the time you get to the Buddhist thing. That's separated from the Vedic mythology thousands of years. The Vedic mythology is ancient, Typhonian or pre-dynastic Egyptian mythology, traveled up into the Indus Valley by the Untouchables, which was Typhonian Egyptians, which is pre-dynastic Camites, or what you call your Ethiopian, your Cushites. You see what I'm saying? So this is Egyptian mythology when you talk about Sheba, Indra, and all of these particular things also too. But as it goes on, a lot of the sexual aspect starts to get suppressed. So by the time it becomes to the Buddha thing or the Christian thing, there's hardly no sex involved. And sex is the key to the whole alchemical thing. We'll get into that particular part also too. But it's also talking about liberation of the black woman. So in so many words, what I'm trying to say is we got to turn this whole thing around. What you have been known as being a freak in patriarchal society, there is a reason why they call you a freak, because that's to shut down your powers, because you're supposed to be getting freaky. So I'm going ahead of myself, but we're going to document all this shit based on scholarship. I'm going to put it right in your goddamn face, so you can't run from it. Alright? So we're going to deal, but also we find the origins of this thing with Dionysus. Dionysus is a form of Osiris. Dionysus as the Christ. Dionysus is Osiris, Sheba. Dionysus, Osiris and Sheba is one and the same. Dionysus also rides an ass. Christ goes into Jerusalem riding an ass. Dionysus is also identified as Hades. So what this is also saying, this is proving that my whole dark side theory, what the dark side theory is basically scholarship, that the whole dark side stuff was right, that Christ and Satan is one and the same. Because Dionysus is riding on an ass. Well, the ass is set tight. Jesus rides on an ass. Hades is supposed to be Satan, the God who rules the underworld. But Hades is also double Osiris, the angel of death. We're going to have to deal with death. This is one of the keys. This is one of the keys. You don't have to deal with death. And this is one of the books. It's called Our Name is Melancholy by Leela, L-E-I-L-A-H, Wendell. Leela Wendell. It's called The Complete Books of Azrael. My Name is Melancholy, The Complete Books of Azrael. And it's a whole communication with the angel of death. But death becomes a lover in here. And in so many words, the book is put together to deal with what you call death is actually life, and this is actually death. Remember I told you that our Lord too said that the Egyptians said that what we call death was in actuality human life. He said that human beings are the dead in ancient mythology. So we are dead. And in so many words, we are dreaming, trying to wake up. So this book, My Name is Melancholy, by Leela Wendell, The Complete Books of Azrael, coming from New Orleans. Soft cover $17.95, hard cover $24.95. You know, and it deals with all of that type of stuff. It deals with all of that in this particular book, and there's also a ritual book in this, which I also understood when I got the ritual book. It said it was good to do these rituals in a haunted house. Because a haunted house is a gateway. Then you see the movie Sleepy Hollow, it said that tree is a gateway to a universe. Well, that's what my damn house is. It's a gateway to a damn universe. Because it was haunted. And it's interesting because my brother got a little boy up there, and he saw the guy up in my book room looking at my books. And the guy just walked out the front door. He said, he's gone now. So every time my brother comes over, he can see the ghost. Ginger used to see him a lot. And the little boy can see him. You see what I'm saying? Little boy can see him. I'm not, well, I guess I say you compensate with me because I'm staying up in the club. You know what I'm saying? But the key here is every now and then I can see him out the corner of my eye. Oh yeah, that's one. You know, like that. Or I can catch a breeze or whatever, that type of thing. But that's a good thing to do rituals, and that's a good place for spirit realms, for the spirit realm to come. Is any kind of place that is occupied by a lot of spirits also too, by a lot of spirits. So Hades, the god of death. Go and get the movie Clash of the Titans, because Dionysus in there is Calibus. And Calibus got nappy hair up in there. When you see the movie, you'll see Calibus Calibus up in there. But now the movie Calibus and Perseus is one and the same. Perseus is the hero, and he overthrows Calibus, but although Calibus is black, he represents the underworld, he represents the inner melanin of Perseus. So y'all may see two heroes or two people. You'll see that in the movie Crawl. You'll see this queen, and then you'll see this fire woman, and it represents two aspects of the same person. The great mother and the young maid. Also in the movie Call the Conqueror, you had the evil goddess battling a younger maid. These also represent two aspects of the same person. You see what I'm saying? In esoteric science also too. Dionysus is also Dracula. So that whole Dracula story is coming from the Dionysus story. It's in this book here, Dionysus, by Walter F. Otto, page 49. And they talk about something about drinking the blood or whatever type thing. And in so many words, it's not necessarily talking about the same type of drinking the blood as Dracula, as it is talking about some type of minstrel rites or some type of thing that they used to do. At that particular time. Also, Dionysus is also the god of wine. So in so many words, the Christian name, if we trace it, because they were close to Greece, a lot of the Christian stuff that Jesus was turned into from Dionysus. Dionysus as a divine lover, Shiva as a divine lover. Shiva Osiris is also, their penis is also called the universe. Now we're getting somewhere. We remember that when we go into this tantric thing, because we're going to drive it home on how this shit works. That's what you need to understand, is how this stuff works. When we go into the tantric thing, on how this thing works. The linga means sign, distinctive given through the possible recognizing the nature of someone called linga. The linga is the universe. From the signless comes the sign of the universe. And the yoni is the nature, is universal energy. Very key. The linga is the penis. The yoni is the vagina. Both of them are two aspects of the universe. Remember that when we go into the whole sexual thing. The whole sexual thing. On the Crawley's Tarot, the Book of Souls, they have the universe card. Here's a woman, but in here you see this eye. That eye that you see is the vagina, which is the yoni, which is a part of the universe. You see what I'm saying? This is what this also means. But there's also literally an eye up in there. So this is very key when we go into this particular aspect of this particular sex tantric thing. I just want to get through some things right quick. Some things right quick before we go into that particular aspect. Bear with me 1 minute. Let's see here. See if I put this in here. This book here, which is a must-have, it's a book called Gnosis by Kurt Rudolph. It's a book called Gnosis by Kurt Rudolph, which is talking about the Gnostic religion. But I wanted to let's see if I keep it right. I lost the page and all, but it's let's see. Yeah. Redemption is guaranteed. It means knowledge is the sense of the escape from the entanglement of earthly existence. The first recognized by the Gnostic at the time of his death. For the moment he encountered the everlasting and reawakening fact and released from the physical body, is able to set out on his way home. The process familiar with the religious called the ascent of the soul. So in so many words they say, he realizes a release, or he realizes an illumination at the moment of death. So here again, based on this particular book and this particular book, we're also dealing with something that it also says in Marie Louise von Franz's book that the modern man, he doesn't understand death. And that is the biggest problem that we have at this particular time. In Marie Louise von Franz's book called On Death and Dreams. There's another book, Dion Fortune's book called Through the Gates of Death that they just released. She died in the 1920s. Dion Fortune's book also too. But just remember, when we go into this particular part here, the yoni is also the universe, which is the vagina, is the universe, is the opposite pole, but you also have what is the linga, which is also the universe. This is very key when we go into the particular aspect of this whole feminine energy. Dionysus also is a god that sets over the realm of madness. So Dionysus, Siva, Osiris, these are all the same people. They're set over the realm of madness. Now what is this madness? This madness occurs when the spiritual realm meets with the physical realm. And you have this tug of war because the physical realm is alien to the spiritual realm and is not conducive to the spiritual realm. So you have this madness. You have this particular madness also. And so Dionysus is also the god of madness. Shiva is also the god of madness, but also the god of sleep. Now, this is very key. Because something happened to me last night. It was a breakthrough. Yesterday, about 6 o'clock, I came down with I was mad as shit. I don't know what it was. I was cussing out the gods. I was cussing out black people. I was cussing out white people. And I don't know what happened. But what happened is I had this large amount of Kundalini energy that was shooting up that morning. By 6 o'clock that day, I think it must have got to the head real good. It must have settled up in there. And all I know is I was mad. And so, last night I didn't go to, I was so mad until I didn't get to sleep. So, I said, well, hell, let me take some valerian root or something like this so I can go to sleep. And I took the valerian root, and when I went to, and I still didn't go to sleep. But what happened is, it started making the melanin in my body started to float, and I felt tired, and I felt sedated, but I couldn't go to sleep. And I think it was for a reason. Because melanin is sleep. Shiva is the god of sleep. Morpheus in the movie Matrix was the god of sleep in the Greek mythology. Sleep is melanin. That's why they would take the melanin out of you and put it in a white person, and the white person fall asleep. You see? But I didn't go to sleep. And I'm sitting in the bed, and the next thing I know, I'm literally down in my body, looking out my eyes. So the body, I was like, I wasn't identifying with the body. I was in the body, looking out of my eyes. And I said, look at that shit there. And I swear. So what happened is, apparently my body went to sleep, but I was still awake. And normally if I go to sleep, I would miss it, but for some reason I couldn't get to sleep. And it must be because of the Kundalini energy or something. It had me wide awake. And the next thing I know, I was down in my body, looking out of my eyes. And I could literally see this dark chamber that I was in. You see? And so, Shiva is the god of sleep. If you're talking about that melanin also. This also. They say that, what they say, let's say this, awakened state is the present, dreams are the past, sleep is the future. But then again, the Quran tells you when you sleep, you're dead. So apparently, going back to this thing again, we're talking about this whole thing based on sleep. Now, for some reason, and I'll get into this when we get into the whole sex tantric thing now, because I'm able to activate things based on getting that deep sleep I've been talking about the last couple of months, getting that particular deep sleep. And it's not based on how much sleep you get, but what kind of sleep you get. That's in the movie The Hunger. Catherine Deneuve and David Bowie. The black man says it's not what kind of sleep, how much sleep is what kind of sleep you get. Maybe a deep sleep, which is healing properties. And we already talked about that before. They can shut down the melanin people because it's called Korea. You see what I'm saying? It's called Korea. So therefore, but we're not talking about how much sleep you get. We're not talking about sleep deprivation in the aspect of how much. We're talking about sleep deprivation. You're deprived of the deep sleep.
And the deep sleep is the Kundalini energy. Because immediately when I took the valerian, no, I didn't take no valerian, I took some fucking chemicals. I took some unison. This shit worked like a motherfucker. I don't give a damn. Call me a fool. But hell, I'm a magician. I'm working on how to damn move stuff. And anyway, that's what I took this unison, and first of all, I took it and I could dream like hell. Last night I didn't fall asleep, but my Kundalini was rising. And the next thing I know, the Kundalini started rising, then my arms started burning. So obviously the force that was in the Kundalini energy came all over my body, and as a result, I can look out of my body into my eyes. You see what I'm saying? I can look out of my body into my eyes. You see, so we're dealing with aspects of still breaking through these ancient mysteries that's going to free our ass. Remember now, this don't have nothing to do with improving the quality of your life. We're talking about the ones that's up in here. The other people were sacrificed so you can get here and deal with this particular science, since this is only one problem. See, when I started out a couple of years ago, this thing was supposed to be a black intelligentsia, which in actuality, everybody is supposed to be researching and bringing shit to the table. You see what I'm saying? Bringing shit to the table. But then all of a sudden, they kind of broke up some stuff 4, 5, 6 years ago, and they start sending all kind of people up in here. You start following these niggas. All these goddamn groups. Even the white boy even said in little 5 points. He said, man, these groups are bad. And in the book, they're low Gnosticism. In that particular book, they say, if we trace this shit, the one people say more than they evil, it would be subversive and groups, organized groups. They might have goals, and the intentions might be good at first, in the intent, but a group of damn people as neurotic and as crazy as we are, this shit gonna turn into this pure evil in the aspect of what you talking about, some messed up stuff. So we're talking about researchers because we, as they say, the ones are the heirs to the earth. That's talking about your asses up in here and the few other black people up the East Coast. You see what I'm saying? Nobody else. The ones that was privy to this information that all the old folks talked about would come into it. Well, we got smart